Welcome to this video on other descriptive statistics. So we had a video earlier on mean, median, and mode, and this one talks about other ones. So range, minimum, maximum, the 50th, 25th, and 75th percentile. So we'll talk about all of these in addition to the mean and the mode, because the median is the 50th percentile. So let's look at this data. So first of all, the number of pets owned by a certain group of people is as followed. We want to find the mean, median, mode, minimum, maximum, 25th percentile, and the 75th percentile. Then I want to look at and say, is the data symmetric, skewed left, or skewed right? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to order my numbers least to greatest. All right, so there's my 16 numbers in order least to greatest. So to find your mean, just to refresh this, we add all of our numbers together. So if I want to find my mean, I add them all up. And when I add them, I end up with 24. And I have 16 total numbers. So if I take 24 divided by 16, my mean is 1.5. Okay, now I want to find my median. And so do you remember, to find the median, we want the number in the middle. So I'm going to do the cross one off on each side, working my way towards the middle. And you'll notice that these two numbers are in the middle, and therefore my median is, since they're both in the middle, I would take them together, I would add them up and divide by 2. So I would take 2 divided by 2, and that's, my median is 1. My mode is the number that appears most often. Hopefully you can see that there are 6 1s and only 5 2s, so this 1 is actually the mode. Now, the new ones that we're talking about, I think the minimum and the maximum are kind of straightforward. So minimum, right, it's the smallest number. Well, the smallest one I see is a 0. And the max is the biggest number I see, which is a 5. And when you put them in order least to greatest, that makes it a whole lot easier to see, which I like. Okay, so now we're going to do, oh, I don't ask for the range in this one. Okay, we're going to look at percentiles now. So, please forgive me, but I'm going to erase the mean because it's going to help me deal with these numbers. So, if you think about percentiles, if I just, and I'm going to erase this in a second, but if I have a group of data, the 50th percentile cuts it in half, right? We call this the 50th percentile. And if you notice, this is also our median. And it cuts it exactly in half. Now, if I want the 25th percentile, the 25th percentile is the halfway mark of the first 50%, right? If you take 50 and divide it by 2, you get 25. Similarly, the 75th percentile is the halfway mark of the upper half. So if you go back to when we found our median, I kept those numbers up on purpose. So you will see that we cut right through here, right? The median was the average of those two numbers. So when I want to go to find my 25th percentile, I am focused on these numbers in the blue box. I'm going to erase the markings on them. So these numbers in the blue box are my front half. So to find my 25th percentile, I have to find the median of those numbers. So we do the same concept of the median. Mark off one on the top, one on the bottom, one on the bottom, one on the top. Again, I have these two. I would cut them in half and find the median, and my 25th percentile would be 1. Now to find my 75th, I look at, I'll go make it green, the green box, because it's the upper half. So if I find the median of the upper half, it's right between these two, and if I split it, right, I know my 75th percentile is 2. Now, I'm going to cross, see if I can make this a little bit prettier so you can see what I'm dealing with here. Alright, so when I go back, I've got these lines in. If you look at the amount of numbers in between the lines, you will see that there are 4 here, 4, right, the 0, 0, 0, 1. In between the orange and the blue, there are 4 1s. In between the blue and the green, there are 4 numbers, a 1 and 3 2s, and then to the right of the green, there are 4 numbers, 2 2s, a 3, and a 5. If you do the percentiles correctly, that will always be true, that the same number of numbers will be between each one. Okay, now to answer the last question, symmetric, skewed left or skewed right, think back to your mean and your median. So I erased my mean, I apologize, but the mean is 1.5. So when you're looking at a number line, gosh darn it, the median is 1, and it's over here. The mean is 1.5, and therefore the mean is to the right of the median, so this is skewed right. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, you're going to want to watch my video on skewed data, because that explains exactly how you can compare the mean and the median to find out which way it's skewed. All right, next example. I want you to try this one. Here's the data. Find the mean, median, and mode, and I throw the range in with this one too, but again, max, min, 21st percentile, and all of that. So try this, come back and check out some answers. All right, so the first thing you did was hopefully put them in order, and then we're ready to kind of work our way through things. So I found the mean, median, and mode already for you. The mean, add them all together, you get 287. Divide by 12 gives you 2392. The median, numbers in the middle, you can see that 21 and 22 are the numbers in the middle, and therefore if you take the average of those, you get 21.5. And the number that appears most often is 17, and therefore the mode is 17. Now I want to look at the rest of them with you. So the minimum, I think, is the, we talked min and max being the easiest. So the minimum is 11. The max is 41. Once you have the max and the min, you can find the range. So the range is the difference in between those. So if I take 41 minus 11, my range is 30. And now we can find our percentiles. So the 50th percentile is also known as the median, which we found to be 21.5. And now I have to look at the front half. So let's put the front half in orange. And I've got to find the median of those. So the cut through, and boom, there it is. These two numbers are both in there. So if I take 17 plus 17 divided by 2, my 25th percentile is 17. Then I go to my upper side. Boom, cut it there. And my 75th is 31.5. When you look at it, give me those numbers, you can see 3 numbers here, 3 numbers, 3 numbers, 3 numbers. Remember, to find the 25th and the 75th, you are finding the median of the front and the back sides. So to find out if this is skewed left, right, or symmetric, we look at our mean and our median. Our median is 21.5. Our mean is to the right of that, so this is skewed right. All right, once again, I want you to try this one, and then come back, and I'm not going to go through any, I'll just have the answers up when you come back after you try this one. And you can see the answers here. We've got the mean, median, mode. Notice how this one has 2 modes. 6 and 7.5 are both there in equal amount, and therefore they are both modes. We would call this being bimodal. Again, you can see the range is the difference between the max and the min, and the 25th and 75th percentile would be the medians of the lower and upper halves once you have split your data in between. Now, the one thing with this is that your median actually cuts right through a number. So let me show you that. Okay, so when you went to find your median, if you cut, one bottom, next, you worked through this process, you notice that your median cut directly through the 6. There was only one number, and that we haven't done yet. So when that cuts through, now when you go to find your 25th, since it cuts right through that number is not included. So when I go to find my front, that 6 is, that line is just there. So I've got to do my 25th, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom, top. There's my 5. So there's 25th. And then in the top half, when I go through, cuts right through. So there's my 75th. So the way that works, let me get through so we can look at our numbers. You can see 1, 2, 3 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Because our 25th, 50th, and 75th cut right through numbers, it allows us to still have the same amount of numbers in between each, which will always happen. All right, so for the next, I think there's 7 problems. I'm asking you to find the mean, median, mode, range, 20. I'm not going to go through any of them. I'll have you go see the problem, and then I'll have the answers for you. If you would like to see more detail on how any one of these is done, please go ahead and shoot me an email. Tell me which one, and I'll make a special video of just that one. Because if I would show details for all of them, we'd be here for an hour, and nobody wants to watch a video for an hour. So the first one only has 5 numbers. Go ahead and find that data for those. So there are the answers typed up, and if you disagree with any of these and you double check and you really think you're right, you know, I make mistakes all the time. So please don't hesitate. And if you're thinking right now, how am I supposed to email you? Well, my email address is bmenning@ivytech.edu. Just make sure you're specific about what you're talking about, because I get a lot of emails. So let me know what video and where my mistake is so I can fix it. All right, next one has a few more numbers. We've got 8 numbers in this one. And there we get to some answers. I think I start rounding here shortly in my answers because the boxes on page 328 start to get small and the numbers start to get a little bit bigger. So be mindful of my rounding. In the third one, we have just 4 numbers. So notice even with just 4 numbers, we still can have a median, a 25th, and a 75th percentile. So just be aware, it doesn't matter how many numbers you have, you can still have all of those percentiles. Let's go to number 4. In number 4, we've got 6 numbers. I definitely rounded on my mean, and this is the first one that you'll notice we have a mode. We didn't have one on the first 3 that we did like this. So just something to be aware of. Check your answers. You might have to hit pause if I go too fast, but feel free to do that to check your answers. And number 5, here we have 7 numbers. Again, we have a mode with this one. I do feel it's kind of weird that the range question is before the max and the min, because you've got to have the max and the min before you have the mode. And interesting enough, in this one, our maximum, our minimum are the same as the 75th and 25th percentile, respectively, which I find to be, you know, kind of interesting. But, you know, it is what it is. And number 6. In number 6, we've got 9 problems, so we get a little bit more here in this one. I don't know what's really to say. I believe I did round, I'm sorry, in the mode, hold on a second. For the mode there, I had a period, and that shouldn't have been a period. The mode, there are 2 modes in this one. We have a 6 and a 9, each there twice. So we have it's bimodal because there are 2 modes. And the last problem in this video, a little bit more difficult, has 16 numbers. So for 16, you know, make sure when you rewrite them to put them in order that you count, right? I started with 16. When you reorder them, that you also have 16. That's crucial. Here in the last one, we also have a bimodal data set where we have the modes of 23 and 24. Big range in this one. You know, our smallest number is 4, our biggest number is 104. So we have a range of 100. Lots of numbers in between there. So check it out. If you have any questions, again, go ahead and shoot me an email. If I mess something up, or if you need to see one of these in more detail. I can, you know, diagram it, put them in order, show you how to find the percentiles and all of that. Just let me know what you need. Thanks.